to drop down in. If you're here, I know, Ruth, you're not here, but everybody else I think is in Denver, and it's kind of snowy, rainy, cold, gray day. So just notice what the weather is, how the weather's affecting you. What's that inner life that kind of matches the outer environment? Right, so let's drop into your state of presence as best as you can. Be here now. Drop your awareness and your attention into the body. Where's the first place that you notice? See if you can kind of take a walk around your body with your sensation, your awareness. And notice any place that feels a little bound or tight. Any place that feels a little numb or hidden. Any place that feels lazy or not, wanting to kind of pull its weight. So whatever you're finding, maybe you're finding a place that feels really good, really free. Let's try to accept all of it. Find a posture that is supportive to your sense of ease. So remember, the sense of sthira, sukha, asanam, that we're trying to find steadfastness, steadiness, balanced with a state of ease. And this is the grace, when we find the balance of these forces. So let's seek this as best as we can. Move freely into your breath. Let it rise and fall. Palms coming together at your heart. Let's bow into the practice, your practice, this practice today. Set an intention. Relax. And let's find our way onto our back. All right. So as you stretch and lengthen, breathing well, just make sure all my ringers are all off and you'll interrupt us. All right, so feel into the sense of space that horizontal gives you versus vertical. Gravity comes upon us very differently. Let's just enjoy what that feels like. Start to open up, wake up your body, stretching the right, stretching the left, just enjoying, opening, breathing. And bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. All right, let's circle the knees here. See if you can feel into the sacrum a little bit. Find your breath. All right, and then let's open the knees, pull them apart away from each other, and then bring them back. Just finding that sense of feeling a little bit more free, a little bit of mobility. What's here, just notice. And then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the ground. Feel the extension in your spine. Move your feet around if you want to. Full breaths. And then change sides. Left knee and right leg comes long on the ground. Wiggle your toes. Free up your feet. And then stretch your body open like a star, reaching into your edges, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Exhale, knees into your chest, chin comes up. Again, open big and wide. Exhale, come in snug. Relax down onto your back, grab your strap. And so we're going to start with a little bit of stretching here, Supta Padangusthasana. Right leg in the strap, or right foot in the strap, right leg straight up in the air. Decide how you want your left leg to be. Your left leg can be on the ground, or you can straighten your left leg on the ground with foot, so foot on the ground or leg on the ground, your choice. Relax the shoulders, have enough give on the strap where there's a sense of ease in the shoulders. Feel free to move around a little bit so you can get that hip to move away from the shoulder. Once you're here, if you want to flex and point, and maybe even point your foot, you know, where you have your foot pointed but your toes flexed. All right, so just find your way. Soft shoulders, deep breath. I'm going to open up the leg out to the right. Feel the extension through your spine. Enjoy what it feels like to open up your hip here. Breathing well, breathing deep, melt the shoulders. And then lift that leg straight back up, cross the right leg over to the left. Feel the hip move away from the shoulder, the spine is growing, stretch through the whole right foot, so spread out the toes, let the big toe and the inner heel stretch away from your body. And then lift that leg straight up in the air. Take your left foot into the strap as well. So 2 feet. Notice how your right and left feel different, having already stretched a bit through your right. And then take your right out. So right foot on the ground or right leg on the ground. Left foot stays inside the strap. Feel free to have a little flex point going on with your foot. You can even roll the ankle, just opening up the lower leg a bit. Soft shoulder. Move your hip away from the shoulder. See if you can prevent your knee from hyperextending. Drop your femur bone into the earth as you reach your foot up toward the sky. Remember the Sthira Sukha Asana, that sense of steadiness and ease. Okay, let's open the left leg out to the left. How is your breathing? Can you melt the body into the ground? Feel that sense of stability through your right leg. A full inhale and a full exhale. Now keep melting the head. It's hard. Sometimes it's very difficult to keep the upper body relaxed. And lift that left leg back up in the air and cross your leg over to the other side, stretching through the big toe and the inner heel. Maybe take the hand in the hip crease and press it away. Just see what you feel like doing. Drop the shoulders. Feel yourself moving into your breath, melting your head. Okay, coming back up 2 feet in the strap again. So feel now that this is really work for the spine, that we can feel the extension through the spine. Drop your femur bones down, a little gap under your low back so that we're not rounding the spine. Feel the length here, and then flex and point both feet at the same time. And then slowly lower the strap and lower your legs down to the ground. All right, big old starfish, spread out your limbs. And then as you're ready, tuck into a little ball, exhale, and come rolling onto your side. All right, so find your way up onto your hands and your knees. Spreading out your palms. Let's start moving through some cat-cows. So arching and rounding the spine, taking your time. Noticing what you're noticing. So how is your spine feeling? How is your breath and your spine relating to each other? Feel free, as always, to move around however you want to move around. You can wag your tail, you can roll through your pelvis, you can move around in your shoulders, you can move your head. So find what feels good. And then curl the toes under and stretch back toward a child's pose. You may not go very far with your toes curled under, but open up the bottom of your feet. Full breaths here. All right, and then back up onto all fours. One more cat-cow. And then inhale, reach the left arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down, finding a twist. Enjoy being in your body. There's so much beauty in presence. Let's enjoy. Face the ground, drop back toward your heels, stretch that outer shoulder a bit. And as you're ready, arm up, hand comes down onto the ground. Second side, lift your arm, slide that shoulder down, threading the needle, gaze toward the ground, let your neck be soft, enjoy the space between your shoulders. A full inhale. A complete full exhale. And come back out a little bit. Drop your hips toward the heels. Stretch through your shoulder. Enjoy. Touching into all the little nooks and crannies of our body. Reach that arm to the sky. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's find our way to our first dog pose. So lengthen through your spine here. Feel free to pedal your feet. Hopefully your legs have already opened a little bit with our prior stretching. That this feels good. And then feel the sense of yielding. Drop into the hands and feet. Become aware of the sensations of your hands, the sensations of your feet. Sink some weight down, yield, and then push off to lengthen through your body. Keep your neck neutral. Relax your head. Melt the skin on your skull. Breathing well. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Folding, bend your knees slightly if you need to, or a lot. Let your head relax. Interlace your hands behind the base of your skull and pull your chin toward your chest. Let the back line of the body stretch open. Breathing deeply. Then release the head. Maybe put your hands on blocks. Maybe they're on your legs. A half lift coming. And exhale and melt to fold. Drop your seat, rise up. Bring the arms to the sky, a big open chest. Breathe well. Let's cactus open the arms and extend our heart free. And then release the hands down. Give them a good shake. One more time, arms up, lean back a little bit if it feels nice. Cactus, open the arms, feel the back body, wake up, and then bring your hands down. Give them a good shake. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open the fronts of your shoulders and your chest. Shoulder blades move toward each other. Bend your knees, bend forward, let your neck relax. Arms away from spine. Stretch your shoulders. Breathing well. And relax and melt the arms down. A halfway lift, the spine grows, sit bones high, melt again. Step back with your left leg, right foot comes forward, a lunge. So enjoy opening the hip flexors, enjoy the length of your spine, and let's start to move, bending and straightening your front knee, breathing well. Round your legs, root in, and then rise up. Bring your arms to the sky. Open up the breath. Heart is expansive. Feel the sense of support through your core so you're not compressing in the lumbar spine. Deep breath here. And then exhale and reach your hands behind you. Interlace your hands the weird way. Open the shoulders again. Try not to compress the back so we're not sinking. We're lifting. And then lean forward with your arms like this. Engage your core. Shoulder blades moving toward each other. Find the breath. And then release the hands down. Back foot comes forward. Fold. Relax your neck. A halfway lift. Grow the spine. And exhale and relax. Step the left foot forward, right foot back, lunging on this side. Chest broad and free. Open things up. Enjoy what you're feeling. When you're ready, start to move. Bending and straightening the front knee. Enjoy what you're feeling. Be present for the sensations that you have. Remember to balance that sense of steadiness with the sense of ease. Feel it flow through your breath. So try to find that alchemy in your practice that is so nurturing to our well-being. Round into your legs, rise up, bring the arms anywhere that supports. Coming into a lunge on this side, crescent lunge, reaching your heart, opening things up. Feel the support of your core. Try not to compress the back body. Interlace your fingers, maybe the weird way. Open the chest, shoulders down and back. Feel your support of your core. Bend your back knee if you have trouble with this. Lift your chest up. And then lean forward. Keep the arms where they are. Press into the legs. Feel that support. And then release the hands down onto the ground. Back to dog pose. Enjoy the symmetry, the balance, the inversion. Enjoy the breath. Let's come forward into a plank. Round yourself steady. Integrate into the core of your body. Breathing deeply. Full inhale. Long exhale. When you're ready, find the ground. Roll the shoulders a couple of times. Inhale, cobra pose. Chest is open. Exhale, melt down. One more time, rising up. Exhale, and release toward the ground. Come up onto all fours. Move your spine about. Enjoy that range of motion that's available in all different directions in your spine. Then back to child's pose. Relax here for a moment. Open up the back. Breathe down the spine. Find your way up to dog pose. Extend here. Push off your hands, heart lifting toward pelvis. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. And, prepare for a chair pose. So either put your legs together or a block or however you like to do it. Drop your hips down, reach the arms up, chair. Drop some weight into your hips. Feel the heart reach and extend. See if you can draw the knees back into the pelvis, a little bit extra weight in your heels. Notice your back. Try not to overarch or underarch. A nice neutral low back. Bring your arms out to the sides and notice what changes, what's able to be more free. Come up onto your tippy toes like this, just opening up your feet. Big breaths. And then put your heels back down. Take your feet wide, like maybe to the edges of the mat or a little wider. We're gonna come down to squat. Okay, I like to have my toes turned out just a little bit. Some people like their feet forward, kind of follow your knees. Drop some weight into the hips, elbows inside your knees to help them coax open. Four corners of your feet are pressing down. Start to enjoy the compression in your hip sockets, the sense of blood flow that's coming into your legs. Breathe well. And come all the way back up, standing star. Always seek the midline if you need it. And then bring yourself back to Tadasana. Pause here for a moment, ground in your feet. Let's just rock a little bit forward and a little bit back in our heels so we notice our feet. And then settle yourself in Tadasana. Head back with your, tend to jump forward with your chin or your ears. Let's find that sense of crown over tail. Self-supporting. Experience your breathing. And drop our weight into our right foot and come into tree pose. So this is, I know we haven't done much with our hips yet. So if you feel like you need a little balance support, take it. If you want to have your foot a little lower, you can even have your toes touching the ground. So anywhere you want to be, see if you can stabilize to the best of your ability, that sense of steadiness, but also the ease. Even if you're wobbling, focus on something that doesn't move. Put your arms anywhere that supports your breath. Breathing well. Neck is soft. Make sure your leg is not hyperextended. Relax and put your foot down onto the ground. All right, breathe well, second side. So you can have your foot high or you can have your foot lower. Try not to stick your hip out. We want to engage and draw it in. Soften the knee you're standing on. Choose any pathway with your upper body, your arms, that feels nice. The neck is neutral and soft. Your gaze is soft and focused. Keep breathing. Don't sacrifice the breath for the pose. Full inhales, full exhales. Try to open up that knee. Keep the ribs facing forward. All right, ready? Go ahead and lower your foot down onto the ground. Okay, so let it melt. Let your body melt into the earth. Feel that sense of Tadasana. Inhale up onto your toes. Stretch your arms overhead and the chair once again. So you can have your toes touch. You can have your heels hip width apart, whatever feels good. Now sink a little weight into your right and then sink a little weight into your left. And then just, kind of just find back and forth a little bit and then find balance, right? Engage through your glutes and your hamstrings as much as your quads. Find your breath, waking up those leg muscles. Inhale, rise all the way up. Release your arms down, Tadasana. Full breaths here, melt the shoulders. Can you feel that you're grounded? That if someone kind of came over and knocked you, you would be able to go with the wave and return back to your state of resiliency. If you, and any of you have done Wakami practice with me, where we kind of gently push on each other and try to get us off center and then refind it again. Imagine that. All right, when you're ready, take your legs wide apart. Just spread them out on the mat. Take a deep breath, standing star. Open yourself up into the bigness of who you are right here. Find your outer edges of your body. All right, then we're going to just go back and forth a little bit. You can turn your feet out just a little bit. We're not going to do too deep of the practice in this, but just feel what it feels like to come into your right, to move to your left, to transfer that sense of weight across your pelvis and into the other leg. And then drop down a little bit lower in our goddess posture. You can kind of like find a little rhythmic movement there if that feels better for you. Put your arms anywhere that supports your breath and your center of gravity. Breathing well. All right, now let's stay in our goddess. Spread out your feet, root down to rise up. Steadiness and ease. Finding the breath. Chest is open and big. Even weight through your feet. Rise on up with some straight legs. Okay, grab your block. Turn your right foot out. We're going to find triangle pose. So you might need 2 blocks depending on your height. You can also just keep your hand on your leg. But to start, put your hands on your hips and feel that your pelvis is tipping to the side. Now, when you do this, what happens to this knee? See if you can pay attention to not lock out the knee and hyperextend. Stay grounded in the big toe mound to keep that knee unlocked. Tip a little bit and then back up. Okay, reach your right arm, feel your side body get longer. And then we're going to find the fullness of triangle pose. Hand on the block if you want. You can have your hand on your leg. Wherever you go, try not to hyperextend the knee. So we want to have a little micro bend in that knee. The pelvis is tipping. Now root into the back foot well. Find your breath. Maybe you look up, maybe you don't. Just see what feels best for your neck and shoulders. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. See if you cannot arc the body, but feel both sides of your rib cage. Find their length. And then come back up. We're going to pivot left, right, and not do poses back to back. So go to the left now. Okay. Adjust your feet, so front heel to arch, or front back foot, or front heel to back heel, so however your pelvis likes to be. And remember, your pelvis can turn a little bit. You don't have to be facing forward if that's not a healthy position for your pelvis. Hands on hips. Okay, and let's just practice a little bit of tilting. Notice, when your femur bone draws into the hip socket, try not to sink and like settle and drop into that joint. See if you can be dynamic of lifting the femur bone into the pelvis, feeling that your knee is not hyperextending. Okay. So get the feeling of that. And now we'll reverse, reach that arm up, find your breath, and then find your way into a full triangle pose. So remember, we're not falling, we're rising. So we want the knee to lift up into the hip. We want that femur bone to lift up into the pelvis. We want the shin bone to drop down into the big toe mound. So you're kind of moving your leg bones in opposite directions. Open through your chest. Feel that no one joint is taking the brunt of this pose, that you're supporting with dynamic breathing, with dynamic muscular engagement. This is that sense of steadiness and ease. If we slag in our ligaments, we may feel like that's easier, but there's so much less steadiness that comes. Full breaths here. Feel the ground, root into it. All right, and come back up. Bring your block to the other side. We're going to do Parsva Konasana with the block instead of the elbow on our knee. And we're going to put the block on the inside edge of your ankle. Okay, so let's find a little bit of mobility here. Arms up, and then exhale and come into Virabhadrasana. Inhale, legs straight, palms together. Exhale, Vira 2. Inhale, arms and legs straight. Exhale, find the legs. Now place your hand on the inside edge. Even if this is not how you typically do the pose, just coax that knee to stay in line with the middle toes. It's okay to turn the pelvis a little bit toward your front leg.
as much as you need to, but not more than you need to. Take the top of this thigh back, your left thigh back, and then reach your arm overhead. Now, maybe this isn't so comfortable for your shoulder. You can make a different choice. Find the shoulder blades drawing down the back, the ribs extending. Keep your neck neutral. Drop even weight into your feet. Use your muscles. Breathing well. Notice if this is different than when you put your elbow on your knee. Okay, and then we're going to rise back up. Coming to the second side now. When we remember, you can always take a block against a piece of furniture if you need more stability for your joints. But if you can manage it, you can have a block at your knee or at your inner heel. All right, so find your breath, arms up, exhale, here two. Back to center, here two. Straight legs, arms up. Let's bring ourselves down. Elbow on the inside of your leg, hand on block, and you can have 2 blocks or 1 block or whatever height you need. Find your way into the pose. Ground your legs. When you're ready, arm overhead. Breathing well. Try to take that left thigh back or right thigh back. See if you can allow the left knee to move away from the elbow. Try to not touch them. Breathe into the length of your spine, crown, tail, and the tail dips down into that back heel. Full breaths. All right, come back up. Back to that neutral place. Okay. Heel toe your feet in a little bit. And then same, we're just going to kind of go from one weighted foot to the other. Start to take your feet a little bit wider. Finding that you're self-supporting. You transfer weight from one side to the other. Finding a goddess. Put your arms anywhere you want. Notice if it's a little easier, if you have a little bit more sense of groundedness, the ability to open the pelvis, ground into your feet, lift your chest. Breathing well. All right, rise up, standing star. Turn your foot to the left again. Triangle pose one more time. Hand on the block or on your legs. Open up through your spine. Find a deep breath. Enjoy. Come into Parsvakonasana. From here, we're going to take the block now behind our shin. I know I said we were going to flip-flop, but let's just do these 2 poses in a row. Ground into your legs. So try to press your knee toward your arm. Open things up, shoulder blades down the back. Support. Use your legs. Okay, rise back up. Take the block with you to the other side. Start with triangle pose. Dip the pelvis over to the side. Try not to collapse into this posture. Be dynamic, engage, lift your femur bone up into the pelvis, root the shin down into the foot. Stretch and lengthen your spine. That back leg, keep it active, so root your back foot. And then when you're ready, we're going to bend your knee here. Keep your hand on the block. Stretch your arm overhead. Try to work your knee, the outer thigh toward your arm. Ground into your feet. 4 corners of both feet. Extend through your side body. Use the work of your legs. keep the weight of your back heel firm. What are you discovering here? Where is the balance of steadiness and ease? All right, come back up. Turn your feet straight and come down. Palms on the ground or palms on blocks, head in the air or head on a block or maybe head on the ground. So just go where your body wants to be. You do not have to have your head supported. You can let it dangle, whatever feels nice. Shin bones a little bit forward, thigh bones in the sockets back. Turn back to the front of your mat for a dog pose. And enjoy your legs coming closer. Feel free to pedal your feet. Inner spiral of the thighs, inner thighs rolling back. Come forward into a plank when you feel ready. No rush. If you're taking your time getting into poses, take your time. Breathing well. Knees come down onto the ground. Lie on your belly. Roll the shoulders. Any back bend that you want to do. Find the breath. Extend through the belly. Reach and lengthen. And then melt and fold. Let's roll over onto your left side. Bend your knees. Grab onto your right ankle with your right hand and then stretch that thigh back. So just engaging a little bit of your core so that you're stabilized. And just feel that quadricep stretch. Try not to let your knee lift up in the air. Keep your knee in line with the hip. Tailbone descends toward the knee, pubic bone toward the belly button. Stretch your whole femur bone. Breathe well. Neck is soft. Let your head feel supported. You can always stick a block under your head if you need more height. Relax. We're going to find our way over to the other side. Take your time. Okay, bend your knees. Adjust whatever you need to adjust. Support your head. Grab onto your left ankle with your left hand and begin to stretch your quadricep on this side. So stabilize through the pelvis. We want have the feeling of the pubic bone lifting a bit toward the belly button, so your core, your deep transverse abdominis is engaged. And then drop the tailbone instead of tucking it under and squeezing your glutes. Reach your tailbone toward the knee so that you're stable but not pinched off. You want to have your breath still be able to travel down through your pelvis into your leg. Is one side different than the other? All right, and then relax. Pause here on your side just for a moment. Take a breath. And then we're going to relax and come on up onto your hands and your knees. Full breath. Move around in some cat-cows if you want. We're going to keep our hands on the ground. Take your right leg straight back behind you. Engage your glutes and hamstrings. Press your left shin into the ground. Bring your right leg out to the side, toes touching the floor. And start to turn your toes out and then turn your toes toward the ground. Engage your core. Turn your toes out and turn your toes toward the floor. One more time. Out. Turn your toe toward the floor. Drop back towards child's pose. Relax for a moment. Let your hips stretch back. Breathe and come on up onto all fours again. Let's go ahead and stretch our other leg straight back. So our left leg is back. We're pressing our right shin. So it's, both legs are active. The core is active. When you're ready, we're going to bring the leg out to the side. Toes turn down. Find your core, and then let's start to turn. Rotate from the hip, turning your toes out, turning your toes down from the hip. Use your core, turning the toes out, turning the toes down. One more time. Turning the toes out, turning the toes in. Relax, come back to child's pose. Lie down on your right side. Little bit of clamshells here, so you can always support with a block under your head if you want to. Your knees are bent. Okay. Feet are just going to stay together. We're going to open up the knees away from each other and then bring your knee back down. Okay, so when you do this, feel free to have weight on the leg that's in the ground. You want to imagine that it's trying to open up too, just a little bit, so that there's some support from the other side of your hip as you do these clamshells. Now with clamshells, we always want to make sure our pelvis is stacked. So we're one hip over the other hip. We're not rolling back or forward. And same thing with your ribs and your shoulders. So you can put your hand in front of you to kind of keep your upper body stable. Breathing well. I always forget to count. So, usually when I do things like this, I just try to go on the feeling, like, did I do it even? But if you're a counter, be a counter. Let's do one more. All right, and then rest. Let everything melt for a moment. Soften, breathe into the ease. Notice which muscles felt that, kind of feel around in your glutes and notice all those smaller muscles that just got turned on. We're going to come over to the other side. Okay, so we're lying on our left now. Of course, you can have a block or a blanket under your head for support. Your knees are bent. Stack your pelvis, stack your shoulders. As we start to do clamshells on this side, you might notice that your two sides are quite different. And that's okay. So just pay attention to any discrepancies you feel. Try not to roll the body. We're keeping stationary and neutral. We're breathing. Have your leg into the ground. Have a little effort. Try not to just squeeze your butt cheeks. See if you can let the big, strong glutes that want to do everything, let them be the backseat drivers. Those smaller muscles are finally getting a turn to be the front seat drivers. Stay inside your breathing. Let's try to do one more. If it doesn't feel even to you, do a few more. When you're ready, rest. Just drop down. Breathing well. Notice the warmth, the sensation that's running through your hips. All right, come onto your back. We're going to lift up into a bridge pose. Come onto the tops of your shoulders, ground your feet. Integrate everything now. See if you can utilize all of your muscles. We're not isolating muscle action. We're using a concert, symphony of muscles. Ground four corners of your feet, your inner thighs, your outer hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads. Breathe well. Let your belly rise and fall. Then you relax your hips down and windshield wiper your knees left and right. All right, let's find our way over onto our side and then come up either to stand or you can move through a dog pose to stand up, however you like to transition to an upright posture. One last standing pose, and then we'll do some, resting, more easy postures before Shavasana. Turn your right foot out. I have a lack of space, so I can't come into a full triangle pose or a full Parsvakonasana to come into Ardha Chandrasana, but we're going to do half moon pose. Make sure your foot is pointing toward the short edge of your mat. We're going to bend your knee, come into any posture you want to come into this, and we're going to climb up into half moon. So the hand is on the block. You can always, a good hack is to take the block a little further out to the right. Engage your core, engage your legs, all your muscles, sharing the burden. Breathing well. Okay, now if you feel inclined, bring your knee toward your chest, grab onto that foot and come into Chakrasana. You can hold onto your heel, find your, or your ankle, and find your way. Try not to hyperextend your knee. Chest is open and big. And then unwind the bind and step back the way you came in. All right, so find Tadasana for a moment and just enjoy your grounding. Breathe well. We're going to find the other side. Remember, you can do this pose with your back leaning against a wall or your foot on something to help you with balance. Make sure your foot does not move. So we want it pointing straight. And when we come up into the posture, we don't want to let that foot turn. If you need more support, take the block out to the left more for a broader base of support. Reach the arm in the air if you can. Otherwise, keep it on your hip. Try not to hyperextend. Remember those triangle poses. Lift your femur bone up into your hip. Drop your shin down into your foot. Feel the rest of your body in the air engaged. The core engages. The spine is long. Lift that leg. Stretch all the way to your heel. Find your breath. Steadiness and ease. If you feel so inclined to do Chakrasana, you can grab your heel, finding the breath, open things up. Be mindful to not hyperextend your knee you're standing on. Chest is broad, tailbone toward the knee. Unwind your bind. Big giant step back out the way you came. Tadasana. Enjoy 2 feet on the ground. Breathing well. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale and fold. Let the backs of your legs stretch. Relax your neck. Halfway lift. Down you go. Let's come on to all fours and back to child's pose. Let your legs relax for a moment. I feel that squeeze of blood moving through. Snug up joints. Let's find pigeon pose or reverse pigeon pose. So of course you can use blankets. You can choose a different hip stretch too if you like fire log or eagle, not eagle, cow face pose legs or anything that you want that stretches your hips in a good way. So find your right leg first. So you get to decide how deep into this posture you want to be. Breathing well. If you're in pigeon pose, I'll cue pigeon pose, but you do you. Okay? You can have your heel close to your pubic bone or pulled out a little bit more. Look back and make sure your leg is straight behind you with your foot flat. Your toes can be curled under, or your foot flat, but don't let your foot sickle. So you don't want your toes turned in. You want the thigh resting on the ground. And let's find our way into the fullness of your posture. And by thigh resting on the ground, I just mean it's in the direction of the ground. We're not externally rotated in that leg. Your thigh, if you're up on blankets, may not touch the ground. All right, so find your way here. Sthira Sukha Asanam. steadiness and ease. Melt what you can. Oh, you're ready. Let's find our way to the other side. Enjoy the stretch. Arrange yourself properly so your toes pointing straight back, whether it's curled under or flat. Your knee is on the ground, flat. Your thigh is facing the ground. Your whole leg is in line with your hip and not out to the side. Your bent leg, your left leg, you can have your heel close to your pubic bone or pulled further away. Find what works for your knee, your ankle, your SI joint, your hip. Once you're in a comfortable position, lengthen through your spine and come down. Melt what you can. Let yourself be at ease. If you're on your back, let your head rest on the floor. Try not to have a battle with this posture. So if it's not okay for you, flip over onto your back. Let the ease be there. So we don't want to always be in a struggle with our bodies. All right. When you feel ready. And if you want to stay longer, that's great. When you feel ready, we'll come out of the posture and prepare for Shavasana. So knees into chest, rock a bit, maybe a happy baby pose, maybe not, maybe, something else if your body is calling for something else. Maybe a twist. So allow, you don't always have to do what I say. Is that, I'm not in your body, I'm in my body. So what might feel good to me may not feel good to you. What might feel good to you may not feel good to me. So always take the opportunity when it's there to dance within your practice, to have that sense of spontaneity, authenticity of what you need. As you move into Shavasana, it's chilly out. So if you have that feeling, make sure that you have warmth. You can put layers on you, blankets on you, socks on you, whatever it is that you need to feel very cozy and warm for the last few minutes of your practice. If you need support underneath your knees, take it. Once you're comfy, melt. Put your limbs wherever they are most comfortable. begin to deepen our breathing. Limbs melt one more time. Begin to wiggle your toes. Roll a big stretch through your body if it feels good. Bringing yourself onto your side as you're ready. Eventually finding your way to a seated posture. Let's offer grace of our practice outward. Share your energy, send your love and care to another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful day.